Greetings again, young kindred of the West. You know those scenes in movies where the villain starts pouring out intimate secrets to his guest, and the audience and maybe even the character realize that if the villain's doing this, that means that the guest is not making it out of there alive. There's no way that he could tell all these secrets and let the other person leave with them. This is nothing like that. But it is me telling you some of my most intimate secrets. Now, imagine, you probably don't have to, but imagine those around you slowly dying out as you go on for longer, forever. You have strange hungers within you and strange urges, and you just endure while all that you love just sort of seem to die at a young age. And am I describing to you the vampire experience? Except you can walk into the sunlight. You can't perform feats, you don't need blood, but you, or do you? You feed on chi or blood. You are human, aren't you? Aren't you? I mean, you seem to be able to die like a human. Well, you seem to wound like a human, but you die like a human. Where is your place? Well, my place back then was amongst humans, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what made me. I didn't know what I was. I just knew that I lasted longer. There was a demon inside me, and I thought it was so hard to control it. And it came out several times, and the experience was not a pleasant one, I can tell you, though now I look back and laugh, thinking that that was a demon that was hard to control. Yes, I was a Dhampyr, half Kuei-Jin, half mortal, sired by a passing yang infused father and a mother who always denied that anything had happened that night. I was lucky. No, literally, it's not a moral saying I was lucky. I was lucky. The Dhampyrs always are. Maybe I should explain. Dhampyrs, you have your own variants. It'd be fascinating to study one of those again. They have half the beast within them, but they walk in the light world. The sun, they don't like the sun, but it doesn't burn or rot them. They are human and they are monster, and they can fit into neither world. Over here, luck follows and twists around them. Luck and fate. Things go crazy around them, and they always tend to survive. It rebounds generally hideously on all their families and friends. Yes, that was my experience, but I had a very constrained circle of existence. In fact, you can say that my whole path since then has been to atone, not to atone, but to expand from my limited horizons. I was lucky. I was the darling of the village, literally, and the father of quite a lot of the village by the 200 years that it lasted. I thought I had an incredibly adventurous life. I sometimes traveled 10, 20 kilometers, imagine, 30. Oh, on one particularly exuberant week, and had life experiences that all those in the village could not even dream of. Yes, I was lucky. I had a burning beast within me, sometimes caused unfortunate incidences that I always managed to get around. And then a passing army proved to me that the world that I had thought was so big, my world is actually just so small. And I was killed in no particularly memorable or important way. Just one of those things. 200 years of life, and no, an army goes by. Of course, I came back, and that is where it gets interesting. You see, it took me some time to get up the courage to research the origins of the Dhampyrs. I threw myself into the Kuei-Jin world entirely, and I was afraid of what I would find, because I knew I knew what I was going to find. I just didn't consciously accept it. The Kuei-Jins were heroes once. We kept down the demons, we fought to bring justice to the world, and we grew corrupt. And back then, we fucked quite a bit. And we had a lot of children, the Golden Children, they were called. And as the Kuei-Jin fell into corruption and the stealing of chi, the Golden Children rose against them. Not militarily. They were half us. They could not match us, but they came to plead, they came to beg. And I don't know which side to place myself on. The Kuei-Jin destroyed them. They killed them, they massacred them. Blood ran red around them. And then the curse of heaven followed soon, and the Kuei-Jin were reduced to the undead monstrosities whose existence we enjoy today. Oh yes. But those Golden Children, what happened with them? Their souls survive. Their souls incarnate, that I'm sure. Don't tell me how I'm sure. I know. Sometimes, in some particularly hideous nights, I remember. Their souls reincarnate into the Dhampyrs of later years. Every single new Dhampyr is a reincarnation of one of those killed by their Kuei-Jin fathers, of the Golden Children. Which means I was as well. Which means now, risen as a Kuei-Jin myself, I am both the monsters that destroyed their own children, and the children walked to try and talk the monsters away from their fate. You think some of your Malkavians have it twisted. But yes. Now, what to do with this? I've walked a lot of paths, and I've accepted this heritage, and I've rejected it many times. But in the world today, there are still Dhampyrs. There are many made. Not huge amounts. Why are they made? They're often, fit of passion is the excuse often given, but Kuei-Jin do not grow old by giving into fit of passions without some planning behind. You see, yang, unbalanced Kuei-Jin can, if they're male, conceive children with a human female, and if they are female, they can conceive children within themselves. There's even exceptional cases of two yang balanced Kuei-Jins conceiving a child together. It's particularly tough on the woman, though that is a universal constant. They must, if they bear the child, cycle themselves scarletly, cycle themselves to yang for the entire duration of the pregnancy, and feed their child with yang qi as well, to keep themselves half alive and keep the child alive until it is time to deliver it or rip it open and rip it out of their stomach. As I said, the fathers, their intervention is a lot more brief, like mine was. But what's the purpose? Why have Kuei-Jin? Why have Dhampyrs? Well, they are in a sense the ultimate servant. They live for 300 years or so. Luck flows around them. They are lucky, though those around them are not always lucky. They have adventures. They are half demon. They have the demon within them, and they have to control it. Well, you and I know they don't know what real control is needed, but let's not dismiss it. It is a bit tricky for beings that are essentially just humans in most ways. They have access to some of the powers, and they're doomed, in a certain sense, to see their loved ones die, because they live longer without the compensation of living the extended lifetimes that we get to enjoy. Oh yes. But they're useful. They can be told about the demons. They can be told about us. They can be brought into our world. They can be used to run the Scarlet screens, run the Kuei-Jins affairs in the light, in the daylight where we cannot go, and they can be trusted. Family. Who can you trust more than family? But then, of course, they're not true Kuei-Jin, so when needed, they can be discarded. Who can you trust less than family? So that is their existence. Some of them don't know if their parents, and sometimes them do know. And they are always between the two worlds. They're never going to be accepted as human. The urges, the demons within them is too strong. They're never going to be brought into the Kuei-Jin world. The demon within them is too weak. They might be useful servants, or they might go their own path. I hear that they're organizing. I've kept a close eye on this. It's very entertaining how, well, how discreet they think they're being with their plotting. But if you know what to look for, the trail is relatively easy to follow. In fact, I think that they want me to follow it. I've seen, well, this is heresy, but I have seen a Dhampyr older than myself, which is impossible. The legend had it that every single golden child went to confront their parents, and every single one was killed. But that makes no sense. Legends are too perfect. Not all have gone. Some would have been afraid. They were only half heroes after all. Some would have been sick. Some would have been out on missions. Some would have been maybe violent and approving of their parents' behavior. Why would beings who are essentially half human all think alike? So many of them must not have gone to confront their parents. There must have been many survivors, and I think I have seen one. And I don't know what he wants. I could have ended his life, but why? Maybe in my past life I walked next to him. What? Maybe we were brothers, maybe we were rivals. But why would I end a life of being so ancient and so interesting? He didn't say much. He just said that he had a plan for the Dhampyrs, and maybe for me. Maybe there's a plan for me. The Dhampyrs are there to redeem the Kuei-Jin, just like they tried to do before, turn them away from their half-demon state. And what does that make me? A failure? Well, is the soul within me, the Dhampyr soul there, just there to redeem me from my half-demon state? Or am I to redeem my brethren, take over much of the Kuei-Jin world and lead them to a new? I don't know. But these are the entertaining philosophical speculations you get up to when you are an ex-Dhampyr. in this cursed and long-lived bodies. But yes, this is the story of the Dhampyrs. A story of being caught between two worlds. A story of having a destiny, of being the incarnation of a destiny and almost never knowing it. But then, are we not all tools to fate? On that tremendously profound thought, I leave you for another 2 nights. Goodbye.